What's good, my tribe? This is day 45 of the 90-day YouTube challenge. A few videos ago, I started going into the microcosmic orbit, which is the third formula of the healing Tao Qigong that I teach. And I thought I'd talk a little bit more about that since it's one of my favorite meditations, and it's also one of, I think, the most key elements of alchemy, at least with Soma alchemy, alchemy of the body. And so, yeah, I really loved this practice as soon as I found it because I instantly connected it with many other things that I have read in other traditions. And so when I discovered this in the Taoist alchemy path, I realized that it was very similar to a meditation that was described in one of the ancient Hermetic texts called the Emerald Tablet. So the Emerald Tablet is one of the oldest, most ancient alchemical texts that was said to be written by Hermes Trismegistus, who that figure is essentially a sort of conglomeration of the three forms of Hermes, spanning three different cultural traditions. So we have Tehuti or Thoth, coming out of the ancient Egyptian culture. We have Hermes, which is from the Greek, and then Mercury is the Roman version of the Greek Hermes. And so this Hermes Trismegistus is sort of, supposedly the main alchemist who began to disseminate these teachings to humanity. And so the Emerald Tablet, you might have heard, this is a very famous text that says, "'Tis true without lying, certain and most true. That which is above is like that which is below. That which is below is like that which is above, to do the miracles of the one only thing. And as all things have been and arose from one, by the meditation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. The sun is its father, the moon its mother, the wind hath carried in its belly, the earth is its nurse," and so on. And so what sticks out for me, though, in that not only is the as above, so below, which is sort of the microcosm, is a reflection of the macrocosm. What we're talking about here is the microcosmic orbit. The fact that this same pattern is something that is found in larger macrocosmic patterns and systems is the first thing. The second thing that kind of drew my attention was the passage that says it ascends from the earth to the heaven, and it descends to the earth, and it receives the force of things superior and inferior. So what this means is there's a cycle of rising and falling. And, when I read that and I made this connection with the microcosmic orbit, things started to make sense. And I realized that, wow, this is something that is found in many different traditions. It's also found in the Indian tradition. If you look into Kriya Yoga, which is the system of yoga that was taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. He's got this famous book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, which, if you haven't read that, I highly recommend it. And the system of Kriya Yoga is essentially very focused on breath work, more specifically moving the life force up and down the spine. And in Tantra Yoga, they have, again, just like Taoist alchemy, these two energetic paths. They have the Arohan and the Awarohan. And those are the paths going up the spine and down the front of the body. So it's interesting. It's like we have in the Indian yogic tradition, the Taoist alchemy tradition, as well as Hermetic alchemy, all these different forms of alchemy, all talking about the same practice of moving energy around the body through specific channels. And so, yeah, just for me, because I made the connection between all these different paths and realized that this is probably a very fundamental practice to energy work in general, it immediately became sort of my focus and like my favorite meditation. And so this is why whenever I do teach Soma as a way to kind of go deeper, beyond just physically working with the breath, the next level is to then start working with the subtle breath, the subtle energy that is within the breath. And we do that by moving it through the microcosmic orbit. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. I hope you find that information useful. And yeah, I guess tomorrow we can get into some of the actual practices of the microcosmic orbit. So yeah, I hope you're all well, with love and light. May peace be with you.